Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday evening. Welcome into The Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, we'll get right to it. Another day, another Browns loss. And this one today, this loss to the Titans to me, 31-29 at home. The Browns fall to 3-10. Everybody smash the like button on the way in here, so we're about to get into it. 31-29 at home. The Browns fall to 3-10 in the season. The Titans were a 1-11 team coming into the day. Now, if the Browns would have won today, they would have knocked themselves out of the top 4 of the NFL draft. All right, so there was some positives coming out of today still for the long run, and I'll get to that in a minute. But to me, let's start with the breakdown of the game. We'll look at the stats here. First downs for the Browns 22, Titans only 13. Let's see. Total plays were even 64. Total yards for the Browns had 412 yards, 292 yards for the Titans. Total drives were the same, 15 and 15. Passing attempts. The Browns threw the ball 42 times today. Titans only threw it 28 times, but the Browns 8 yards per pass attempt, so an improvement there. Rushing the ball for the Browns today, only 3.1 yards. Rushing attempts on 20 attempts. 61 yards. The Titans ran for 184 yards today on 35 attempts, over 5 yards a carry. So obviously they dominated the running game today. And that was really for the defense today. I think the absence of Malik Collins really showed today. Malik Collins is a guy that I like coming into the season. I thought we stole when he was put out in San Francisco because they couldn't afford him really. So, I think you saw the absence of him today with him not there in the middle. Teams like the Titans were able to kind of probably the worst team of football going into the day with not a great offense. They would have run for 184 yards on us, over 5 yards to carry. So the defense in terms of the rushing defense today was not very good overall. But I think, like I said, the absence of Malik, I think, really showed. And, I thought the adjustments, though, coming out of the half, I thought Schwartz did a much better job in the second half of limiting the Titans. There was some good second half adjustments. I think, when you look at this game today for the Browns, right? Shedeur Sanders, I thought, looked phenomenal today. He threw the one errant interception. He had some misses, but you expect that from a rookie. The interception, I think that's what he does. He's trying to push the ball down the field, which I like. I'm not, I don't have a problem with him trying to do that. I think it's something you can coach out of him, and it's something he'll learn from. It's a rookie thing. But overall, though, forget that. 23 of 42, 364 yards, 8.7 yards an average, which I like. We're getting out, because a lot of the averages we've seen this year from our quarterback play, no matter who's been out there, especially with Gabriel and when Flacco, especially with Gabriel, was only 4 yards, five at the most per completion, which is terrible. But Shedeur, 3 touchdowns today, 1 interception, only sacked twice. I thought Shedeur did a much better job today of getting the ball out, not taking the sacks like he did last week. In the first couple of weeks, he got the ball out. You saw a couple times in the first quarter. He was looking downfield. He was patient, but then he just threw it out of bounds, when nothing was there. Because there were some plays where receivers weren't open. But Shedeur today, though, made some beautiful passes. The throw to Jerry Jeudy for that touchdown there was great. I love that throw that he made, but also getting, it was just a beautiful throw. But I love the throw he made to David Njoku the most. The backpedal like that down in the red zone, and it just he was really patient. He looked a lot more comfortable today. Shedeur looked really comfortable, and he just looked really patient today. I liked what I saw from him. And just to feather that ball right there in the cover 2 right there to David Njoku in the end zone, I mean, he threw that ball only where it could go. Like I heard Brett Favre say, it was like a butterfly with sore feet. It just it just felt just so soft right in this in the only spot it could. Right. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, his ball placement, the kid has incredible touch. His accuracy obviously was one of the best of all time in college football history in terms of percentage. So he was great, I thought, today. And then I get to throw to Judy for the touchdown. The throw he threw at the end of the game to Harold Fannin. Harold Fannin's an absolute dog. Harold Fannin's a monster. That guy is going to be, he might be the best tight end of football here in a couple years. I mean, there's some great ones out there, but this guy, he's just dominant. I mean, that's what you want from your tight end. His route running is unbelievable today. I mean, some of the plays he had today, I loved some of the play calling in the first half today from Tommy Rees. We're going to get to that here. I'm going to get to that in a second. We will. The guys on some of the play calls later in the game, though, a little questionable. But in the first half, though, I liked a lot of what he's doing, getting those guys out in space. Got Harold Fannin lined up with a linebacker, and he can get open on anybody, really. I mean, his route running is very good for a tight end, especially when he's got a backer on him or a safety. Some great intermediate routes, middle of the field. He was getting open, getting the ball. And Shedeur did a nice job finding him. And I thought overall, there was a lot of positives from today. I mean, the Browns scored almost 30 points, which is a positive. Obviously, a lot of games this year we couldn't get over 20. Shedeur, to me, though, looked like a guy who, I think if he can keep stacking on this moving forward, he's definitely the guy that they should move forward with because he's actually gotten better. Compared to Dillon Gabriel didn't get better from week to week. He got worse, and it was just kind of the same. Shedeur got better. First week, I thought he went out there and did the best he could, and he got the win. I thought he was pretty good. Last week, I thought he was not great. I thought last week he kind of took a step back. But then this week he came out. He remember and I like how he took the accountability after the game last week and during the week, saying he's got to stop, hold on the ball, can't lock in on just one guy, which is a lot of. I did the film breakdown, and I saw a guy today who went out there really kind of had more trust in his receiving core, more trust in the people around him, and just kind of was very patient and let the plays happen and executed them. And I thought he did a great job. The only play he forced, I thought, was that interception. He had a couple other plays where he had some misses. He had the one play in the third where he rolled out. He rolled out right, if I remember, and Fannin was open over the top, and he tried jamming it to somebody on a shorter route, like 5 yards away. Kind of threw like a bullet at the guy, missed him. But I thought overall Shedeur was great. I thought he was great, and it gives me a lot of positivity moving forward with him. That the Browns might have their guy there. I mean, let's see. It's only 3 weeks, but again, he's at least progressed. That's what I like the most. So, and I think Tommy Rees deserves a lot of credit for that too. I think since Tommy Rees has taken over play calling, I think it's been better. I think there's been a little more creativity they've added in there. I mean, you can't change everything in the middle of the season. I mean, I think only thing Tommy Rees can really do is kind of switch up some of the formula in terms of the run pass balance and, maybe add some different flavor with some of the tight ends and some lining them up on the outside one-on-one with guys and kind of progressing off of some of the plays they already had installed or tweaking some things. But he can't do a complete overhaul. It's impossible in the middle of the season. They already installed what they installed going into the season. It is what it is. But I think it's been better. And Harold Fannin today, though, 8 receptions, 114 yards, 1 touchdown. Dominant. Another positive for today, Shedeur Sanders and Jerry Jeudy. They looked a lot different this week. They looked like two guys who had a good relationship this week, and maybe, they were able to hash things out throughout the week. I like Shedeur's leadership today. I saw on the sideline, personally, I saw him sitting there talking to guys. He looked like a seasoned vet out there. I think his leadership, just his poise today really stood out to me. But, again, I really liked his leadership today. I saw him on the sideline with the tablet a lot of times, breaking it down with guys and just coach, almost he was like a coach out there. David Njoku seems to really, really love Shedeur Sanders. And it showed today. They looked more like a unit. And again, going back to Jerry Jeudy, last week we saw them with the blow up on the sideline. This week, completely different. Jerry Jeudy, three receptions, 76 yards, and 1 touchdown. So he had a much better outing than he's had all year. But where I have the problems with today, I also have to talk about a problem earlier with the defense. The rushing defense was not good today. Could not stop the run with the Titans. And I think the absence of Malik Collins, I think, showed a little bit today because of that. Malik Collins was so dominant in the middle of this year. They stole him from off the streets when he was released by the 49ers, like I said earlier. And I think they missed him today. But where I think the game, we had the punt block today, so that was another negative. The special teams gave up another, bad play, and Bubba Ventrone, Gage Lavard almost gave up. He dropped another punt today and almost gave that up. So the special teams unit to me didn't look a whole lot better today. They didn't have as many costly mistakes as last week, but the one where you get your punt blocked like that, and that can never happen. So, Bubba Ventrone to me, I don't understand why he's still in the building. I don't know where they progress. Only thing I heard from Bubba Ventrone this week basically was he was pretty much saying to the media how he just doesn't have the right, it doesn't have enough players. There's a lack of talent there. So, which I don't know which more talent you need. It's special teams. It's your job to coach them. It's your job to correct these habits every day. Whatever you're doing in practice ain't working, bro. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I don't know what Bubba Ventrone, what drills he's doing, what the meetings are. I don't know what they're doing, but it ain't working because they've never. It's been the same stuff all year. So I don't get it. But so Bubba Ventrone's another. We've been a lot of people have talked about him. He needs to go. It's time to move on from him. But Kevin Stefanski. So the Browns, let me get to the play-by-play on my phone so I can refresh my memory. The Browns, they were down 31-17 after the block punt, right? The Titans got a field goal after to go up to 31-17. The Browns go down at 5 plays to 66 yards in a minute and 50 seconds and score a touchdown, right? So now it's 31-23. Well, and there was, let's see, they scored that touchdown, right? There was 4 minutes and 27 seconds left, a lot of time. And you've had overall this year, you've had a pretty solid defense, I would say, at least solid, pretty good most of the time. And you're at home, right? It's snowing like hell. It's cold. It's windy out by the lake. Why not trust your defense, get the extra point, right? Make it a one score, 31-24. So now if you get the ball back, you go down and score, kick a field goal again. It's a tie game. Now you take it to overtime, and I like our chances in overtime at home, especially with the way Shedeur was starting to get rolling, right? Especially in that drive right there to make it 31-23. But no, we want to go for 2. And I don't understand why, and obviously didn't get executed. So if it got executed, yeah, it looked like the smartest thing ever. But I don't like that in general. I get it, trying to be aggressive, but to me, that's not the situation where you should be aggressive. Yes, you want an aggressive coach, but how you go about being aggressive has got to be very calculated, in my opinion. It has to be smart. And I hear a lot of people saying this was smart. And I don't think that was smart, and that's not the situation to me where you need to force it to go for 2 when you have 4 minutes and 27 seconds left. And the next drive, the Titans went 3 and out, 0 yards. They punted back to the Browns. Browns went down and scored a touchdown. And then because they missed a 2-point conversion, then they had to go for 2 again, and they didn't get it, and they lost the game by 2. So I don't get this balance between being smart. I hear a lot of people tonight saying it was a smart idea to go for 2 right there, that the analytics said you should go for it. Everybody does it. And I'm just saying, no, they don't. No, they don't. I don't see a lot of people in that. I don't think a lot of coaches would do that in that situation. Again, you have to go with the flow of the game. Trust your defense, get the extra point, and get the hell out of there. And get back. And again, let your defense get the stop, which they did. They got a 3 and out the next series. You went down and scored, but you had to go for 2. And in the 2-point conversion play, Shedeur was rolling. He was rolling in that fourth quarter at the end of the game. You take him off the field, and then you put the ball in Quinshon Judkins' hands. And Quinshon, I love Quinshon. God bless him. He's a hell of a player. But we put him in a situation. It looked like they were trying to do a throwback or something. So we want Quinshon to throw the ball across the field. He clearly botched the execution of the play. And it was a busted play. It was a horrible looking play. And even the commentators, the play-by-play guy, Mark Schlereth, were even sitting there going, why would you take the ball out of Shedeur's hands in that situation? But what does Mark Schlereth know? To me, again, it reminded me of last week. 4th and 1 on your own 32-yard line. And let's have Harold Fannin, a rookie tight end, go take a snap. And what happened? He botched it. because you just don't put your rookies, really anybody in that situation. You don't take the ball out of the guy who was rolling. He's your quarterback. He was rolling. He was making phenomenal passes. That team was flowing in that fourth quarter, that offense, like we hadn't seen all year, really. And you took the ball out of his hand, and you had to get that 2-point conversion to tie the game because you screwed yourself for trying to go for it earlier. But again, everybody's trying to be smart, and all smart means to me, when I hear all these people say it was smart, you ever hear all these people? It sounds like a bunch of people that never played football, and they try to sound like they know football, like they have football smarts, so they can, sit on there online or wherever they do and work for whoever and sell all this stuff, and that we know football, and it's just a hustle. That's all it is. And I ain't attacking nobody personally out there to be, hey, salute to you, how you get your money, whatever. But I'm just sorry. There's a lot of people out there today. It's the same stuff we've heard, the same people that defend this over and over and over again. And because they identify with these people, they identify with the Kevin Stefanskis of the world, the people who love too analytical. And I'm not anti-analytics, but they are too analytical. They have the most analytics personnel of any organization in the NFL for sure. I think maybe the most in all sports. Obviously, Deep Podesta just left, but still, the Browns have tried to redefine logic of football for so long, and they've had people out there that there's people out there that identify with that constantly defend this stuff, and they all use the same words, right? Strategy, right? It was process, right? And every time they tell you something, they always go right. Like they're trying to convince you that, because they really don't believe it themselves. These people have no conviction in what they say. And Kevin Stefanski is a prime example of that. When he goes up there to the media every week and talks, and he gets asked about, last week he did the Harold Fannin debacle, that play. This week it's this 2-point conversion debacle. And Kevin Stefanski, the same stuff, like watching paint dry every week. No conviction in what he says. Just looks like a robot up there. Here's Kev after the game.
Very disappointed. You got to give credit to the Titans. They won the game, so they made more plays than we did in the end, but just disappointed to some of the things that happened that game. We expect more from our run defense. The giveaways there, that's not about who we are. We got to protect the ball. We had a punt blocked, and obviously not getting either of the 2-point plays really off is frustrating. So that's on all of us. We own it. Can't hide from it. It's all of us. It's offense, defense, special teams. It's players and coaches. We'll own it. It's frustrating, but we'll move on together. That's what we'll do.
That's what they'll do. That's about all they could do. That's it. That's all we get. And then Kevin goes on to get asked about the 2-point conversions, and here's what Kevin had to say.
Some really good moments.
What was supposed to happen on that last 2-point conversion?
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call. Why
would you take them off?
Yeah, it's a 2-point play. Didn't come through on our first 2-point play. Got to the second 2-point play. We didn't come through, but that's on me.
Was that play call yours or Tommy's?
I'm responsible for all of it.
Kevin, on the first.
So he's responsible for all of it. He just said it right there. He's responsible for all of it. He makes the call right there. So I don't shout my boy Knapp. He said, so he calls out the defense who has given us a chance in more games than we should have been in. Hasn't called out his boy Ventrone on special teams. Thank you. I'm glad somebody, you get where I'm going with it already. And so does a couple of people in chat. Chat, good to see you, Knapp. Hope you're doing well, brother. But yeah, this is on the money. What he said right here, that's exact. When I heard this, I was out in the car listening to this press conference. I'm thinking he doesn't go up there and take accountability right away from himself. Again, because he just admitted it was on him. Now, eventually he did take accountability. He said it's on him. I made the call. It's on me. But the first thing you come out and say is, let's blame the defense. The defense who made adjustments in the second half and looked good coming out of the half, better than they did in the first. And they've kept in a lot of games this year. Yeah, they didn't have their best game this year, this year. Yeah, than they've had this year, excuse me. But, again, Malik Collins being out, I think, had a big part of that. Teams were able to run the ball. The Titans were able to run the ball on us a lot more effectively than other teams have. But at the end of the game, you still had a chance to win. And when you needed stops the most at the end of the game, that 3 and out, they got you stops at the end of the game, your defense did. And they gave you a chance to go down and win the game. And your offense did. They went down and scored 2 touchdowns in a row, 2 touchdown drives in a row. But you decided to be Mr. Smart Guy and outthink everybody and outthink logic in football, and let's go for 2. And it came back and bit you in the ass. Just like last week when you were on the 32-yard line, and let's give let's put Harold Fannin out there to take a snap exchange, a tight end, and what happened? Debacle. And it was a play that pretty much cost you the game. So I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. This guy deflected. He deflects all the time. He just goes up there, just gives you that every week too. Just nothing. And I shout out to some of the media people there trying to press him a little bit, like, why would you take the ball out of his hand when he was rolling? Like, if you're gonna make a pass, why not put it in your best passer's hands? Why would you? I mean, I don't get it. They're trying again. It's people trying to outthink everybody else in football, and look at what it gets you. Look at our record the last 2 years. This is what outthinking everybody in football gets you. And that's why I put in the thumbnail, the guru of doo-doo. The Browns stink. They're crap. Because, and I don't blame some of the play. It's because they have a crap philosophy that's ran this organization, crap strategy, just shitty everything, and a crappy foundation. And this is what you get. Trying to overthink and outlogic football. I don't get they're trying. It's like they're trying to redefine the game of football and try to be smarter than everybody else. Logic, strategy, the processing. Right? Remember that we heard that at the beginning of the year from the assistant GM about was it Catherine Hickman talking about the quarterback? How it was all these weird terms. Everybody was like, "What the hell is this?" All these weird terms to think about how to evaluate a quarterback. Is that yes, that is a TA84 calculator because that's what they use up there in Bria. You're right. The defense is what gave us a chance and got the ball back when we needed the last score. Yeah. And I don't understand that. Why would you try to go for 2 with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left? Trust your defense, and that you didn't get the 2-point conversion, and then your defense still got a 3 and out. The Titans didn't even get a single yard, and they got the ball back with 1:40 left. So, not a lot of, only 1:44 went by on the clock when the Titans had that ball after we scored that first touchdown. And, before the first 2-point conversion we missed. So that first touchdown drive, they only had, when they got the ball after that, it was a quick 3 and out, no yards, only 1:44 seconds. So you got the ball right back. And you went all the way down the field, 7 plays, 80 yards, and scored again. But guess what? Now you're put in a tough position to have to get another 2-point conversion because you made that decision earlier when you could have just kicked the field goal right there and went to overtime. And I would say you probably would have won overtime. The way, Cam Ward to me did not look that good today at all. His mechanics are terrible. He's got a lot of flaws in his games. I think he has a lot of talent. I liked him coming out in some areas of his game, but he's got a lot of flaws. That's a game where the Browns, if they could have just pushed it to overtime, yeah, we gave him some stuff further on. It was kind of a wacky game for 3 quarters, but in the 4th quarter, it looked like the game kind of looked like what a lot of people thought it would. The Browns would win the game by, 7, 10 points at home. They're, Titans aren't great teams. Titans really been a worse team than the Browns all year, and the Browns haven't been great, obviously, but, it's not saying a lot. But again, you push it to overtime, trust your defense at home. Myles Garrett probably went out there more amped up. He can try to get another sack to get closer to breaking that record. Like, don't try to overthink things. And that's the problem. They've tried to overthink everything. They tried to be the smartest people in the room. And trying to be the smartest people in the room has bit you in the ass. And that's why your record is what it is the last 2 years. And ever since you fired Van Pelt, you fired Stump Mitchell, you basically pushed Bill Callahan out. You just let him walk out the door. They didn't even try to stop him when he had 2 years left on his deal. You haven't recovered since. Because you're trying to be smarter than everybody else. Trying to do it their way. And their way has been doo-doo. So, again, Dan says, any coach that loses a home game in cold weather to a 1-win team from the South should be instantly terminated. The Titans literally tried to hand the Browns a victory, and we still couldn't take it. Exactly. And that's what's disappointing about this. Because that's a game they should have won. To me, I think this is the worst loss of the season. I mean, all the losses have been bad. And again, I say I don't have high expectations for this team to begin with. So every loss to me isn't surprising. But to the 1-win Titans at home, and I was up near Cleveland today. It was snowing like hell. The weather was horrible. Like, you should win that game. And they only run the ball against the Titans. They only ran the ball for 61 yards. Only ran it 20 times, 3.1 yards of attempt. I mean, and they ran for 184 yards, 5 yards in attempt. I mean, you got out rushed at home. Unbelievable. I just to a one win team in the Titans, who are already fired their head coach this season and are purposely tanking to get a high draft pick, probably to get Arvell Rees or whoever, maybe a quarterback. They don't believe in Cam. Whatever, they're tanking. But that's what we lost to. Unbelievable. Browns have a 6-24 record in the past 2 seasons. Literally have lost 80% of their games. But they're out thinking everybody. They're they got it under control, Dan. Don't question them. Don't question those analytics. How dare you do that? Don't do that. Just trust the process, right? Trust the strategy. They're collecting information on the quarterback position, right? Just that's all you need to know. Just don't question them. Just it was all the players didn't execute it, and we just got to do better. Same crap we get every week. Shout out my man Ro Goldstein's in the house. Good to see you, Ro. Co-host of the Stump Talk podcast. Ro, it's actually funny you popped in because I'm about to play a clip from your guys' show this week when Stump was dropping knowledge. Like always, if you guys go subscribe to their show, Hall of Fame Network, on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll go watch the Stump Talk show. Stump Talk podcast every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock with former Browns running back coach, legendary running back coach Stump Mitchell. So go check it out. But Rose says Arvell at 3. Yeah, Arvell at 3. That would be interesting. He's definitely going to be a high pick. He's a monster. Kid out of Glenville. And shout out to Arvell. He said, my man, lost to 2 teams that are tanking. Enough said. Yeah, you lost to the Titans, then you lost to the Jets as well. And so I got Mary Kay's article today that came out. I'm going to get to that here shortly. I want to focus on the game first. Right. But Mary Kay's article that came out today, I don't know if you guys saw it, about Tommy Rees. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. That is something interesting there, I think. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But again, going back to them trying to be the smartest people in the room, trying to outthink everybody, trying to outthink all the football, the people that have been around football forever, the Bill Belichick's, the Nick Sabans, even the guys now, the Sean McVays, the Mike Vrabels, and those guys, they want to do it their way and have a strategy and use that T84 cat in those analytics and have the most analytical people in the league, or most analytical personnel in their, front office more than anybody else. They're doing it their way, right? But Dan said 6-24, it's really working. And remember last week, same thing. Hey, let's put our tight end underneath the center. And I played center growing up, won a national championship, so I understand position very well. Let's have my center take a snap exchange in a key moment in their territory. Remember last week against the 49ers. And then this week, remember today, let's go for 2 twice. And the first time, we had less than 5 minutes left, let's go for it. Didn't get it. And then, the 2-point call today, I don't know what that was. Let's take Shedeur out, or let's take our quarterback off the field, and let's have a running back try to throw a pass. And it was a complete debacle like last week. But remember last week, the Harold Phantom play. Here's what Stump had to say about that.
Things that they did on special teams, and 2 special teams blunders, and then the mistake that Kevin made to go for it early in the ball game. I mean, in the second quarter, with them on their own 33-yard line. You just don't do that if you're in your right mind. You just don't do that unless you just don't want to win.
Oh,
if you're trying to help the 49ers, now you make a play like that. If you don't want Shedeur to get another win, now you make a play like that.
Right, Coach. Could you?
And now the correct stuff. He said the second quarter is the third quarter, but I get what he's saying. Third quarter, it's still a lot of game left. And remember last week they were trying to go for it on their own 32-yard line and have their tight end take a snap exchange. And then this week, let's take our quarterback off the field on 2-point conversion for the game, basically. To if we don't get it, the game's over, and let's have Judkins throw a ball or whatever that. Again, if you're gonna have Judkins take a wildcat snap, just have him run it. That's what he does. He's a running back. He's not a quarterback. He's not. I want him doing what he does best in that situation. All right, that's not a time of the game to piss around and try some extra stuff. You got to do what you do best. Put your guys in the best position as a coach. In terms of, and when I mean put them in the best position, put them in the position when they execute, you want them to run a play that they feel most comfortable running, where they're at their highest, right? Talents, or their talents are at the highest. And Judkins' highest talent is running the ball, not throwing it, not trying to gadget play. Put him in the position where he's most effective. But no, we want to try to outthink and outsmart everything. It's unbelievable. If it was up to me, Kevin Stefanski would be fired tomorrow, and it's long overdue. It's time to move on. All right, the analytics dream team had their run for 5 years. Dee Podesta, he got up and left and went to Colorado, the worst franchise in baseball, and it was only, he was only their third choice, not even their first choice. So in terms of Kevin Stefanski, that's the guy who really pushed Haslam to hire him. So I don't know what we're waiting on. I mean, I guess you could write out the rest of the season, but I don't get it. If there was no fan or media pressure, Stefanski and run the Wildcat 100% of the time that Gabriel couldn't take a snap. The way the line was moving, it looked at like reverse. He forgot to play. Yeah, that was a weird play to begin with. Again, should never happen. Should have never happened to begin with. Should never been in that situation. You don't put your team in that situation as a coach, in my opinion. People don't want to have a real conversation about what's going on here. I think Judkins had a brain fart. I think I said that Kevin Stefanski thinks he's the smartest guy in the room and treats fans like they're stupid. Yeah, I mean, he sat out there after the game and said, I'm not going to talk about it. It is what it is. Don't question it. Rodney, good to see you. Joseph, good evening. I sit there 25 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's documented. I remember you said last week he was going to have a good game. My man said, maybe the guy tighten up, Joe. You have to go with something different. Well, I mean, it's 3 games. Hey, us Browns fans are scarred. All right. We've seen guys that came out here and looked good, and then eventually it kind of went to crap. I'm not saying it's going to happen to Shedeur. I think I'm very inspired by what I saw from Shedeur today. I feel good about him going forward. When the joke who caught the ball are thinking of Jersey from last week's show. Oh, yeah, I remember that rant. He said basically called out the GM. What an excuse. Yeah, you're right. Talk about Bubba Ventrone. Basically blamed his special teams blunders on the GM. When catching a ball, like dude, you're in the NFL. You're a head coach. Your guys are NFL players who you brought to this team. They should be able to catch a ball, like field a punt, block like today. Just block your assignment so the punt doesn't get blocked. I mean, it's basic things. And to call out the GM and deflect to him is just, they're the master deflectors. And Bubba Ventrone, he's the associate head coach, if I'm not mistaken. So he's always standing by Stefanski. You could tell they have a very close relationship. So, hey, you got two peas in the same pot. They just deflect. It's everybody else's fault. And they take zero accountability. They don't question them. How they do it is the best way possible. No questions asked. Joining me now is the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Michael Antonis. Mike, what's happening?
Hello, beautiful people. Hello.
Also join us tonight, keeping it real. I'm sure I'll have a rant tonight. Jersey's in the house. Jersey's.
Hello, everyone.
Mike, I'll start with you. We'll get to some other stuff here after you guys give your take on the game, but your thoughts on the game?
So my outlook is I'm always a half glass full guy, and my outlook is actually pretty positive. And here's why. The Browns draft position is a lot better today. And my feelings about the draft class that we just had are even better today. Now, I know it's only 3 starts, but today, and I know it's just the Titans, but still, that's an NFL team. Shedeur Sanders today looked like a franchise quarterback. Shedeur Sanders today looked like what you want to see. And he had nearly 400 yards. Yes, he had four total touchdowns. Yes, he had the errant pick. You're going to get that with rookies. That is all impressive. But what impressed me the most, and I sent you the comment during the midweek practice videos, Joseph, is you mentioned it too. He called himself out. Hey, sometimes I hold on to the ball too long. I'm looking for the big play. I got to work on that. Takes accountability and then shows that in game. Looks at the reads. It's not there. Hit the check down. Looks at the reads. Pressure in his face. Spins out of pressure. Looks real quick. Not there. Throws it out of bounds. Like making smart decisions and improving week to week. He's improved massively from week to week.
And I not to cut you off, but I wanted to point this out too, because I know there just seems to be a different vibe with him and the other teammates and the other guys than we've had a quarterback. Maybe not Flack. Between him and Gabriel, there seems to be a different vibe with him with the other guys. You saw last week, remember Teller lifted him up after he scored that touchdown. I think it was the Raiders game, that picture. Maybe that's why Teller, they did what they're doing to him. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know. Just point it out there. I don't know. Maybe not. But him and Njoku seem to have a great relationship. You saw him and Jerry Jeudy a lot better this week. Like you see him on the sideline, the way he's talking to the guys, and they're all engaged, and it looks like a real quarterback out there trying to lead a group. Like I like what I see.
Yeah. No, I loved every minute of the game as far as from that point of view. It's really shaping up. If Shedeur keeps building on this, if he has 2 more games like this, I know we have 4 more games left in the regular season. So if he has 2 more games like this game, I think it's safe to say the Browns will probably roll with them.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that.
And whoever the next head coach is. And that, in my opinion, would make this draft class one of the best ever that the Browns have had. Especially if you find your franchise guy in the 5th round. But from the other point of view, your draft position secured. You have a top 5 pick. You can do what you want with it. I don't think it's ever a good idea to fire a coach mid-season. We're not really mid-season. We're near the end, but I'm rescinding that. I think Kevin Stefanski should be gone tomorrow. That was egregious. I don't know if at this point, he's in his own head too, because Kevin Stefanski has not been great the past 2 years. I think we can all agree on that, but he's never been this bad with his decision-making. He's always made some weird, cutesy decisions, but he has just been outright bad. And the 2-point conversions, the not holding Bubba Ventrone accountable when the special teams unit has been horrible these past 2 years. There's just too much all at once. And even when he's trying to do the CEO coach thing, it's not working. Tommy Rees looks like a good play caller. Your defense is good, but you can't win a game because of these dumbass decisions that the head coach directly has control over.
Or special teams blunder by the guy who's the associate head coach.
Correct. And that special teams has been bad for years. Bubba Ventrone should have been gone a minute ago. I will say, shout out Andre Schmidt. After week 1, he cleaned it up. Looks like he's our kicker. That's a good thing.
I'd say, the shiznit looks all right. I like the shiznit.
Yeah. One bright spot. Yeah. But yeah, my thought on the game, man. I mean, rookies shine. Samson had that horrible fumble, but it was just a good play by the Titans defender. He lowered his helmet directly into the ball, knocked it loose. Other than that, I thought all the rookies played amazing. You kind of hit on it perfect. You took the words right out of my mouth. Run defense suffered without Malik Collins. But yeah, the special teams blunders, the turnovers, the procedural penalties are still there. Man, it's just too much at this point. Kevin, like it's time for the accountability to hit. Like I understand, like maybe there's an argument to be made that he was dealt a bad hand with the Watson stuff and losing 3 first-round picks, whatever. But at this point, dude, it's like I'm watching the Saints with Tyler Shuck beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which is one of the better teams in the NFC. I'm watching that happen. And we can't beat a 1-win team at home in the snow, and they're from Tennessee. I watch there are teams that have success with worse quarterback play. There are teams that find a way, and you find that way through coaching. And I think through this was the nail in the coffin, because it's like you had a quarterback produce at that rate. You have that defense that even if they had an off day, they still do enough for you to win, and
gave you a chance at the end of the game.
Exactly.
And it's I was up in Cleveland. It was snowing like hell. I mean, Jersey, we were up there at that time. The weather was pretty shitty. I mean, it was not, it was bad.
Right.
Like it was a home field advantage. And not to call you out, Mike, just add, but I mean, I'm just because I was up. I mean, everything was on the damn table for it. This was an easy gimme game. I mean, this is when everybody looked at it and said the Browns are going to win this game, and they're probably going to lose the rest of the season and finish as a 4-win team.
Yeah.
Right. Because you look at the games after this, they're all against teams that are, teams that have to win or are better than the Browns. I don't think I would pick them to winning the games remaining. But, this was the game they should have won. And
no, I'm not going to pick them to win a single goddamn game. Here's the thing, man.
Like you said, Shedeur, your quarterback, probably gave me the best. It was the best quarterback play I've seen all year.
I was thoroughly impressed. I was so impressed that there were a couple throws he made and a couple of reads he was making, man, that I was like, that's a big time play. Like I watched it, I was like, that is a big time play. That is what you want in a Sunday afternoon kind of play. And like, man, the fact that it was legitimately coaching decisions that led you to not having the success, like that's the biggest nail in the coffin, man. It's like you have the quarterback. Also, if this is what was going on, like I get maybe there's an argument to be made that like, oh, well, sitting him helped. We had to sit him, so I mean he wouldn't be playing this well if we didn't sit him. But in the same token, it's like, listen, man, like if you had this on the bench, why were you starting Dylan Gabriel over this cat to begin with? And that's another coaching decision. That's another indictment on him. I'm just
right. And that's another smart strategy back in the summer. Let's bring in Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and 2 rookie quarterbacks, and have this fake competition where they knew all along Joe Flacco is going to be their guy, and then you take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, one of the worst 3rd round picks ever. Nothing against Dylan Gabriel, that was a horrible 3rd round pick. You could have got him if that's what you wanted. You could have drafted him a lot later. And it's just, and then the guy they barely took in the 5th round, who was thrown to practice to not even his own teammates during camp, 4th string, he was thrown to the equipment staff guys. Remember that? Whenever that was, that in the spring or the summer, whatever it was, he was at one point he was throwing equipment staff guys. He comes out there, looks like the best one out of all of them.
Yeah, he looks like the real deal, and he has the confidence to keep doing it. He doesn't lose faith in himself, which are some of the intangibles you need at that position. Like,
there's two things. There's 2 things, Mike, in Jersey we've seen for 2 years in a row. When Kevin Stefanski handed off play calling, the quarterback play got better.
Yeah. And
yes, you could say it was a different quarterback, blah, blah, blah. It was just still better.
Yeah.
It just, even the concepts look better. The play calling looks better. It all looked better than when he was in charge of it.
Oh, yeah. And to touch on the play calling a little bit, I thought, I think Tommy Rees did a good job today. I think maybe he didn't commit to the run as much.
I think we might have lost Mike. Jersey, you go ahead. We'll go back to Mike when he comes back. Your thoughts on today's game?
Well, I mean, obviously, I didn't watch it, but I went back, watched all the highlights, and anyway, even from the highlights, you could see Shedeur seemed a lot more comfortable, like you were saying. Just quite a bit of just I don't know if you growth really in the last week. Come out, put up those numbers. Yeah, it didn't seem like he was holding the ball as long. And going back to what Mike said, that's for him to take it on the chin and say that in the press conference and come out and actually do something different, apply himself and try to change it. That's great. That's all you can ask. So, but whatever, man, I can just remember when you scored a touchdown, you just kicked an extra point. I mean, you went for two only if you had to. Like, what the hell is going on with just kick the extra point? I, I for anybody to say that was smart, okay, well, no, it wasn't smart because look at the result. So then you put yourself in a position on the last drive where you have to get a 2-point conversion. I would rather my team just, for the mental mindset, no, they only got to score a touchdown. We'll kick an extra point, tie it, and maybe go to overtime. It's going for two like that. It's like what the Cavs have been doing. Cavs look terrible this year, but they're shooting 40-something 3-pointers a game. This fascination with shooting the 3-ball anymore, like low percentage shots. Why take low percentage shots versus getting in the paint? It's the same thing. It's a low percentage play. Just kick the damn extra point. The only thing that he did right today was wear that sweatshirt that said "Inspire Change," because that's what the hell he's inspire change. Yes, we need change. We need to change his ass out. Get him the hell out of town, man. Because he, Shedeur gets to the press conference. Yeah, I need to do this better. I need to do this better. I need to do this better. He actually takes questions and he answers questions and he holds himself accountable. We got a coach that has never, ever, ever, ever held himself accountable in a press conference. He won't even take the questions. What's that tell you about the guy? You know what I mean? He won't even take a question. And you can say, well, it's just, that's just how he treats the media. Well, that's not right. You know what I mean? You can't do that shit. So it just tells me how the guy is. He is just, I know what I thought he was doing. I thought he was calling plays for Ohio State last night. That's what it looked like. We're sitting there at the bar watching that game, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, God, it looks like Stefanski's calling plays. I mean, talk about shit in the bed. So, I mean, yeah, he's calling plays for Ohio State last night, and we lose to Indiana for the first time in 30 years, and he's got the Inspire Change hoodie on today. So, defense, I don't know what's going on. Let them guys run all over them. But here, they gave him an opportunity at the end, gave the offense an opportunity to come back and win. Offense actually came back and did what they were supposed to do. We just have a numbskull making decisions and just erratic decisions. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't think anybody gets it. So, I
like aggressive coaches, but being aggressive to me isn't trying to do something like out of the ordinary like that. A lot of people say that's common.
That's not aggressive.
But is that common either to go for it for 2 points right there in that situation?
No, whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like, whatever happened to just kick. That's not aggressive football either. Aggressive is, okay, we're at there. We've been a little sluggish so far in the game. It's the end of the second half. We're at their 45-yard line. It's 4th and 1. We're going for it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to go for it. We're trying to get some momentum. That's aggression. Aggression's chunk plays. Aggression's throwing a ball 20, 25 yards downfield. So these little fucking dunk passes, he just loves so much.
Not the little cookie cutter offense we were running those years.
Yeah, that's what aggression is. So not making foolish decisions. Like where the entire team is sitting there scratching their head. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? So
And what did you think of
just
what did you think of the 2-point play at the end of the game? The guy's
that
rolling,
might be
and you're going to attempt to pass, but take the quarterback off the field and have your running. I mean, that's up there with last week where you had your tight end trying to take a snap exchange.
it remind me of that play last night Ohio State ran.
Yeah.
I mean,
Except, hey, at least their quarterback was on the field.
That
yeah.
comment made
I
me,
mean,
that comment just made me spit my coffee out, Christian.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the worst plays I've ever seen. The way it was executed and just completely botched. So just again, foolish play. Put a rookie. You got a game on the line. You got to get a 2-point conversion. You run some gadget play, and you get your rookie involved. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have your rookie involved, make it be the quarterback at least. But you get your rookie tailback, and just he made a bad play.
But why
But
put
he
him in
should
that
never he should
situation
have
to
he
begin
should have
with?
been put in that position. He should never have been put in that position.
You don't put that guy in that situation, in that weather, that kind of game. His best ability is what? Running the ball. That's why he's a
Right.
running back. And catching it out of the backfield. He's a guy that goes and scores the ball. All right. I don't know what they were trying to do there.
So
if you're going to throw a pass, throw it to go back to Harold Fannin again. They weren't stopping him.
Talk about that
All
dude
overthinking.
is just unbelievable. The production coming out of that guy, how good that guy is. I mean, this guy, he's everywhere. Is there anything Fanning can't do? You know what I mean? Big fan in the coach.
Man.
I mean, this guy looks like he can do anything. I mean, what a tremendous ball player, just football player. So it really, really impressive to watch. He's almost like must see in a sense. So, but that pass to Njoku, great pass. I mean, he really made some great passes today. And again, he looked a lot more comfortable. So it's just a shame it ended that way. It's terrible for the fans that went up there, and sat through it, and again was let down by the coach.
And here we all said it tonight. We all agree it's time to clean him out here, right? It's time to get Stefanski out. Both Ventrone, he can go to. I think there's probably a couple of the coaches in the offensive staff I'd probably move out as well. But those two in particular,
Chad
especially
O'Shea.
yeah.
I will pack his bags myself. I want Chad O'Shea sent to Vietnam. I don't want him anywhere close. I don't even want him in the country anymore. Get that man out. Put him in a block in a cell in Southeast Asia in the middle of the ocean. I don't want to see him. I don't want to hear the name. I don't even like hearing Irish last names anymore because of Chad O'Shea. Like I hear the O and I'm like, oh no, it's a bad wide receivers coach. I am so sick of that motherfucker. Pardon my French. He's the worst goddamn coach that got hired. He was an offensive coordinator in Miami for like 5 seconds. And then he gets hired because he's friends with Kevin. He's kept his job through all these firings, and he's arguably the worst one. He's been the worst one since day one. I hate him. I don't hate people. I hate him and the fact that his work ethic. I hate his work ethic because he sucks. That guy sucks. I'm sorry. I know that came out of nowhere. But like, Jesus, God in heaven, how do you you're the wide receivers coach. And for those of you that don't know, when you're a positions coach, you have a little bit of a say in the talent that you get. You tell the GM, hey, I like this guy in the draft. Hey, I like this guy in the draft. And you're supposed to coach them up. This wide receiver core is the worst hodgepodge shambling of a wide receiver core I've ever seen. Jerry Jeudy, I don't know. He bipolar wide receiver. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's not. The rest of them are just bad. Isaiah Bond might be something, but who knows? And he was a UDFA anyway. So like, what are we doing? What does this guy even do? Does he coach? Is it like, does he have a smart board up in there? Is he just doing that? Like, is he just fucking drawn with a fucking magic marker on the smart board? Like, he's not even coaching. He's just the worst. I don't know if
I don't think a lot of them are coaching, Mike. I don't see a lot of coaching on the offensive side of the ball at all. Really, outside of Tommy Rees and the running back coach, I don't see a lot of coaching. You know, and the offensive line, I mean, I kind of gave them some grace. I mean, the last week, I didn't know they were playing musical chairs last week, taking out guys middle of the game, subbing at other guys, rotating. I don't know what this whole thing with Wyatt Teller's just, I don't. That's sad. What's going on there to treat him like that? But yeah, I don't, Jersey. They said the guru of doo-doo is diabolical. Shout out to you, Fred Mayo the goat, or Mayo the what is it, Mike? Fred Mayo the Great. Excuse me.
Yeah, Fred Mayo the Great.
That is a hell of a name. Great profile picture. I'm gonna need an emotional support bourbon. Yeah,
already got a couple. Mixing it with coffee as we speak.
All right, but you know, there was a positive today though, Jersey, because again, we all agree he should be fired.
Yeah,
and I think he should do it now. And good, Chantel, good to see you. Hey, Joseph, just got here. What's your thoughts on Shedeur? Oh, I thought Shedeur was phenomenal today. I give Shedeur an A today. I thought he played well. Obviously, had the errant pick, but other than that, you know, I thought he was phenomenal today. Shedeur made some. My favorite throw he made today was the one to David Njoku on the first touchdown. That was, I mean, beautiful throw. Couldn't put that ball any better. Couldn't have thrown it any better. Excuse me. Couldn't have put it in any better place against, you know, cover two. I mean, that was awesome. I thought Shedeur was awesome today, and he did everything he could to give them a chance to win.
Yeah, hit dudes in stride.
The people on the sideline let him down, but they should all be fired. I'm talking about Kevin, a couple offensive guys, Bubba and Trone especially, but Kevin should be gone. And so I think there is a positive today, guys. You know, Shedeur looked great, looked like a franchise quarterback. The Browns, all the rookies look good. The Browns still, Dylan Sampson did have that fumble, but he'll be all right. But what was I going to say? Oh, they still have a top 4 pick because they would have won today. They would have lost their top 4 pick, which they need all the help they can get. So you know, and again, Kevin lost the game in a controversial way. So I think this is a perfect outing for the Browns today. Shedeur looked good. They kept their top 4 pick, and Kevin looks like a fireable coach still.
Yeah, for the long term, for the coming week, but today it sucked. You know what I mean? Just you never want to go out there to lose. You certainly don't want to lose in front of your fans.
Right. 100%.
But yeah, I mean that's the silver lining. Is I mean it'd be great if tomorrow we wake up and Stefanski was released. Because then we'd all say, "Gosh darn, it was certainly worth it." We would have all went up there and sat in 30 below temperatures for 10 hours just to get this guy out of here. So, yeah, but you know, I agree with you on Shedeur. I don't mind him making that pass. You know why? Because the sorry ass coach won't do anything. So at least he's trying to make a play. He's trying to do something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't mind him trying to push the ball down the field.
So,
and I couldn't tell if it was an underthrow or an overthrow. I didn't know if he was trying to hit Bond while Bond was coming across, or if he was trying to hit Gage.
I think it was just forcing it in the, you know, just trying to force something. And and again, there's got to be more timing with that in terms of like, I don't say time, more awareness, like knowing where a guy's going to be. You know, that's all off schedule stuff. Like that stuff guys go over. You know what I mean? Like if I roll out this way and the play's not there, I know you're going to come back this way or you're going to run. You know what I mean? That's like communication with his receivers. I think will improve over time. I think that one he just tried forcing it. He's trying to win the game. He's trying to do what he, you know what I mean, the best he can. Everybody's going nuts about this title, the Guru Doo-doo. Love the title. She just said. By the way, Jersey made this title tonight, so props to Jersey. Mikey gets a round of applause. Where is it? Come on.
That Gen X.
Just call him the Guru. Brother. That's as long as he's here, he's going to be called the Guru.
If you guys liked how we improved our draft position today, you're really going to love what happened with it in the weeks that come.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, shout out Jersey. Yeah, shout out to Jersey. He Kirtland Falconer 93-53 says the Guru of Dude just dead. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. But you know, going into this game today, guys, right? So we talked about the game. We all agree shit performance by the coach at the end cost them. Defense didn't, do well in the rushing game. Looked like the missed Malik Collins. But anyway, still should have won the game. Before the game, though, gentlemen, Mary Kay Cabot this week, the last couple days, put out some very interesting some reports. So let's start with the one Friday, right? And this actually, I got the Adam Schefter one, but I know I have what Mary Kay said written down right here. So Adam Schefter said, though quarterback Deshaun Watson is unlikely to play this season, the Cleveland Browns are planning to have him on the roster next season, right? So he's owed $80 million, right, Mike? So if they tried to cut him in June, if they tried to just cut him and get him off the roster, they have to pay $80 million next year. Well, they're not going to do that. They're going to pay him the 40 next year, and then they'll push the other 40 down the road, right? And then next year's his last year under contract with them. So he's going to be on the team. But Mary Kay put out yesterday, Mike, remember I sent it to you, she said along the lines of, if I'm not mistaken, they want to give him a chance to be the bridge quarterback for what is probably going to be, she said, probably a first-round quarterback selected.
Yep.
So I'm very interested by this. So that was Friday. That's the report we hear, right? That Deshaun Watson is not only going to be on the roster next year, but will have a chance to compete to be the bridge quarterback because they're going to take a rookie quarterback in the draft, and that's Deshaun's going to be the bridge guy. And then Tony Grossi, like Chantel said here, said the Browns are taking from Mendoza with the number 1 pick possibly. However, obviously Fernando Mendoza is the hot name right now in college football. He had a great game last night against Ohio State. And so I don't know, but then Shedeur looks like how he looks today. I don't think if he keeps that up, I wouldn't move off him. But
agreed.
Today, before the game, this morning, rather, they came out from Mary Kay Cabot. You can see her here. The Browns will make every effort to keep offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, who interviewed for Penn State job before Matt Campbell got it. Now, I had some insight on this for some people that are plugged in college football. They told me Matt Campbell in October was probably going to get that job, and that's eventually what happened. But Tommy Rees, though, he just interviewed for the job. Whether they offered it to him, I don't know if they offered it to him. There's a difference between an interview and actually being offered the job. I think they just interviewed him, but I don't know if Tommy really wants to go back to college football unless it's for the right fit, because a lot of coaches are trying to get out of college football right now because a lot of the stuff going on with NIL, and they'd like to get to the NFL because it's just mainly just coaching. You still get paid a good amount of money. But she goes on in the article. She goes, the Browns will make every effort to keep offensive coordinator Tommy Rees to interview for the Penn State head coaching job. Furthermore, it's Rees's preference to remain with the Browns, a source said, even though he'll likely get more opportunities in the coming weeks and months. And that, to me, is Rees wants to stay in the NFL, like I just pointed out. Rees, who took over play calling 3 weeks ago, is highly thought of in the college and NFL coaching circles, and the Browns won't want to let him out of the building. As NFL Network reported Sunday morning, Rees interviewed for the Penn State job before they hired Iowa State coach Matt Campbell, who's a Northeast Ohio native. Matt Campbell is. Last year, Rees, 33, was a finalist for the North Carolina job before Bill Belichick got it, and they would have tried to hire him away from the Browns. Rees, who served as the Browns tight ends coach in 2024, has called plays for the past 4 games, 5 including today, for the Browns, and will do so again as they take on, this is before the game. Right here, though. Rees is viewed as a rising offensive genius, and the Browns don't want to let him out of the building like they did some other brilliant minds, such as Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell. Now, remind you, Kevin O'Connell is a head coach. And so she just put Tommy Rees in the same sentence as Kevin O'Connell, that they don't want to let him out of the building. Basically, they regret letting Kevin O'Connell out of the building because they see what he's doing in Minnesota, and they don't want Tommy Rees. They think Tommy Rees is on that same level, and they don't want him out of the building. All right, so it continues. Your boy Mike, Chad O'Shea, he was quoted. He said, "quote Tommy Rees has been outstanding. I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good coaches. He was in New England, Belichick, and that stuff. But Tommy was very impressive as an offensive coordinator. He's very intelligent. He works very well with the staff. He's a great communicator, and the things he does best is he's a tremendous leader." So again, leader sounds like a head coach quality. Then it goes on. Tommy has done a great job of providing leadership to our offense when it always hasn't been good. I think the greatest trait of a leader is how you can lead when times are tough. And he's just done an outstanding job being being in front of the guys on a daily basis, providing leadership. And I know I've really enjoyed working with him, and he's just done a really good job with our offense. So again, two different paragraphs there. Number one, you compared him to Kevin O'Connell as a head coach. Number two, you say leadership, tremendous leadership. He's in front of the guys giving leadership. He's showing leadership in tough times. He's provided leadership to our offense. And reading that reminds me of what Albert Beer said when the Browns fired Alex Van Pelt 2 years ago for no reason. Remember, the Browns they were 11-5 with their, I think, was a 4th-string quarterback that year, Mike, when Deshaun got hurt, DTR went out, and then they put Joe Flacco off the street, and they went to the playoffs. And they had 4th-string left tackle. They made the playoffs, 11-5 win team, and they fired Alex Van Pelt, their offensive coordinator. And Albert Beer said after they fired him, he was the glue of the staff in Cleveland, and that people were floored when they fired him because he was the glue of the staff, and he kept everything together, really. And what has that offense been, Mike, since they did those firings? Not very good.
Horrendous.
Been the worst in the league. They've been the worst in the league. Been horrible. Can't even score over 20 points a lot of weeks, most weeks. So, and again, what makes a good head coach is the staff I think he puts around him. And we've seen what Kevin Stefanski is with a weaker staff. It hasn't been that good, right? It hasn't been that good. But Tommy Rees, though, he's leading the offense already. And you've seen the offense in 4 weeks and 5, including today, improve. And the quarterback has gotten better. Looking at Shedeur Sanders from week 1 to 2 to 3, he's gotten better each week. All right, so it continues. Browns offensive line coach Mike Bloomgreen went on to give a quote. He said, quote, he'll probably be explicit and meaning mad. I say this, but he's a football savant. Like, I was in my 3rd year coaching the NFL when I was his age, and he is such an old soul with so much football knowledge. The way he processes information in this game, the way he thinks the game is so next level, Like, I'm amazed by him daily. So I've enjoyed working with Tommy, I've enjoyed my working relationship with him since February. I've learned a ton of football from Tommy. So your offensive line coach has even learned a ton from this guy. So there's a lot of high praise from 2 offensive guys on the staff. And Mike Bloomberg, the offensive line coach, and Chad O'Shea, Mike's favorite, the wide receiver coach. So, and then the article ends right here. If the Browns have their way, Rees will be with the team for the foreseeable future. And so this article to me is very, very interesting because the way they paint Tommy Rees and the way they don't remember, and notice one thing, Kevin Stefanski is not mentioned one time in this article. There's no quote from Kevin Stefanski in this article. Why not ask the head coach about his assistant? Wouldn't a head coach want his assistant to go get a head coaching job somewhere and take credit for that? But why isn't he mentioned in this article? I find it weird. And so, again, if Kevin Stefanski gets fired either tomorrow morning or maybe after the season, remember Kevin's guy, Dan Orlovsky, mysteriously 2 weeks ago went out and linked him to the New York Giants job, and they fired Brian Daboll out of the blue. He was still in a contract. He's still the head coach of the Browns. He threw his name out there for the job. And then this week, Mike, you saw the Jeremy Fowler reports everybody was talking about how they just threw his name out there as a possible head coaching candidate and how executives around the league are saying he's a good coach who would be maybe get another job somewhere else and blah, blah, blah. And everybody say, why was that coming out this week all of a sudden? And
right.
First week of December. So again, you kind of just put it all together. And I'm just wondering, is Tommy Rees their guy long-term, Mike? Because it says right there, where's that quote from the Kevin O'Connell thing? That's what stood out to me right here. Rees is viewed as a rising offensive genius, and the Browns don't want to let him out of the building like they did some other brilliant minds, such as Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell. Well, Kevin O'Connell's a head coach. So I don't know, Mike, what's going on here, but some very interesting stuff from this article to me, Mike. And I think everybody right now if they had to bet, Kevin Stefanski is probably going to get fired either tomorrow morning or after the season he'll be let go. Is Tommy Rees the guy that they like, Mike? And what's your thoughts on all this from Mary Kay? I thought this was fascinating this morning reading this.
I mean, it could be a big possibility. I mean, Tommy Rees, comes from a great pedigree, Nick Saban's last protege, really. great offensive mind, good leader. Everybody likes him. All the players like him. From my understanding, he has the best relationship with the rookies in general, because Kevin Stefanski, and not just Shedeur, but just has always been weird with rookies. But Tommy Rees was the one really like coaching them up during the offseason. It's quite a possibility in here. It's something that, like, in a way, I'd be very okay with it. In another way, I'm just kind of like, well, because at the end of the day, he's still very green in the NFL. He was hired in as the tight ends coach, got promoted after, the debacle last year, and then he would get promoted again to head coach. So, like, steamrolled into a head coaching job. But, he comes from that Alabama program under Saban. He knows that culture. He already the offense has improved under him. I don't know. I mean, here it's not a great pool of coaches. The list that keeps getting thrown out, like outside of like Clint Kubiak, who I think is probably going to be the most sought after, it's not a really great list. Like, there's no name, there's no like Ben Johnson hire. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
and is
hey,
this
hire
really
this guy.
is this
Huh?
really an attractive job right now either? No.
Well, I mean, there's arguments being made that it is.
Yeah,
Other than
it has a good rookie class. You might have a young quarterback, right?
yeah,
There is a lot of you have a
2
good
first-round
defense,
picks, good
2 first-round
defense.
pick,
Like,
but there's still a lot of other things. It's nothing to do with the players, really. It's more with the organization and the cap. They still got cap restraints they're going to have. Like, it's not the most attractive job. Like, some people look at Cleveland, Mike, let's be honest, they're like, I ain't moving there. You got to really sell them to come here.
right. And if it's one of those things, like they think, hey, we think Tommy is just as good as these guys. I mean, here, in my opinion, if that is the route you want to go, you got to just fire Kevin on Monday. Like, if that's the route you really are thinking of going, let Kevin go on
and
Monday.
what not a better game to fire him than after this one?
Yeah, let him go on Monday. And it's like, if you're already planning on like hiring Tommy, give him the interim head coaching gig, see how he does, and then make a final determination. If that's really where it's going. That's if I'm the general manager or owner of the Cleveland Browns, that's what I would do if I'm considering Tommy Rees for the job. Seriously, I'd fire Kevin on Monday, put him in as interim head coach. Let's see how he does. Let's see how he operates. Because you get a little trial run, and then best case scenario, he looks good. Maybe they go 500 at best. Maybe they only win one game, but the offense looks really, really improved, or less penalties, what have you, stuff you want to see. And, you decide that that's the way you want to go. Worst case scenario, hey, we tried it. The operation looks just as bad, if not worse. I don't think this will work this year. We're going to go ahead and hire someone else.
Yeah, people I know that I trust were in the college field that know Tommy Rees pretty well. They say he's a dude. And I said this before the season, Mike.
Yep.
They said he's a dude. They speak very, very highly of Tommy Rees. A lot of people do. So that's not what she wrote in that article about him is thought of behind the scenes. I know from people that know that. And I'll just leave it at that. But one thing too, what do you have to lose? Because again, I don't think you're going to get anybody else here. I mean, so if you're going to fire Kevin, like you said, Mike, there's not a lot of great coaching options out there. You kind of got to take a chance, maybe a little bit, maybe go with the guy in house if that's who you want. But also, here's another twist, though, Mike. And I lost my train of thought for a second, but I got it back. But I'm gonna write it down one more time so I don't forget. But remember before the season, Mike, who was linked to the Browns? And remember when Colin Cowherd had the whole little Arch Manning thing, which obviously that went to shit because he's not coming out and shouldn't be drafted right now. But who else was mentioned in that, Mike?
Monsieur Saban.
Monsieur Saban. Do I think Nick Saban's gonna be on a sideline again? No, I don't.
No.
But do I think Nick Saban could be in a role in a front office as the president? Yeah, I do. I think he can. I think Nick Saban can run a team. He knows football. I think, and you kind of see what he's doing now on ESPN. Like today, when they did the whole college, he's an analyst. He gives analysis, and I think Nick Saban knows football. What if, like the Miami Heat with Pat Riley, right? Pat Riley's been the president. He was a former legendary coach who went up in the front office and has been running the franchise. What if he runs a team? And again, there's a common denominator in all this is CAA and Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton is Kevin Stefanski's agent, but Jimmy Sexton was also Freddie Kitchens' agent too. So the last two coaches were represented by Jimmy Sexton. Well, Nick Saban, I think, is also represented by Jimmy Sexton. And Haslam's circle, like Cowherd reported, was Jimmy Sexton, Nick Saban, and the Manning brass. But I think Tommy Rees, when I Googled today, Mike, I believe he's also represented by CAA. And guess who he was an offensive coordinator for at Alabama? Nick Saban. So,
Yep.
And I'm sure him and Jim Schwartz have probably gotten along pretty well because they have some connections behind the scenes.
From what I understand, they're still good friends.
Yeah, I've read the same thing, that him and Jim Schwartz really respect Tommy Rees as well, I'm sure, and they have a lot of mutual connections. And Jim Schwartz has no interest in going and being a head coach again because remember when he took the job, Mike, he said that's not his goal. He
doesn't like it.
And why would he want to leave this unit that is created, with Myles Garrett, the best player? He's not going to leave. He don't want to leave. So they just need to get the other side together and get the stability, overall. But again, it's something to think about. I thought the Nick Saban side of it too, with his connection with Tommy and Jim Schwartz, you could just plug him in there. Maybe Tommy's the guy that Mike, when you're in Jersey, when you put him in the same sense as Kevin O'Connell, like she did, and you hear the leadership quotes from the guys on the staff, and I'm just going to be honest, those two guys, what two units on the Browns, Jersey and Mike, have on the offensive side of the ball been the most questionable? Receiver and offensive line, right?
Yep.
Those are two guys that could easily lose their jobs right after the season. It's almost like they were like campaigning for. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting my tinfoil hat on with this Nick Saban and this stuff here, but I'm just kind of the way they were speaking about him was they were going above and beyond. Jersey, your thoughts? And Jersey, I'm curious your thoughts as somebody who manages yourself and understands a lot of this decision. What's your thoughts on all this?
Well, I've never heard anything bad about Tommy Rees, and it's always I always hear the same thing about Tommy Rees, whether it's from our family member that coached with him, or what you hear from the fact that Saban had him on staff speaks volumes. If he's that highly regarded, I mean, every coach has to get their. Every coach is a brand new head coach at some point. You know what I mean? So, which I'm not necessarily afraid of. It's just what's his body of work leading up to it. So it seems like he's put the work in. He's been around great football minds, and to be and have football minds say that about him. And you can see his impact on the team ever since they made it a play caller. Just every week, it seems like the offense is flowing a little better. Even with Stefanski there and all those bonehead things, but there's just more fluidity. Just seems like the guys just looks like more and more like an NFL offense. So just by the play calling, generally, not always, but generally. But I'm here. Anybody that comes from that tree, Saban, because Saban could argue. Everybody calls Bill Belichick the greatest football coach. He could be, but Saban could arguably be in that same conversation for what he's done. So, and he's been around it a long, long, long time. So, I would absolutely love for Saban to be here running the team. I think it'd be great for who he is right now at his age. Everything he's learned in football, and how to go up in an office and build a team and go back to where he started in Cleveland and
shouldn't
start
Jimmy
to build.
Haslam be trying to find that Pat Riley for his organization? I mean, look at the stability Pat Riley brought all the Miami Heat all these years.
Absolutely. I mean,
why not try to take a swing at it?
And this Chiefs Texans game is, and this is getting physical. This game, man, there's some heavy hits that was going on in this game. This is great. But yeah, he should be. I mean, and every good owner, if you're a good owner, you should be doing that shit. You got to have a guy in your. That's what I've been saying for years now. We had a freaking math professor up there running the team for so many years, and not a football guy. We need a football guy. We need somebody with
a program builder,
experience in football. You know what I mean? Not just has watched it. We need somebody that has a whole career in the game of football. If you're going to run an NFL team, you have to have that background. So that's who has to be up there. Here, you want to keep Barry around and do your contracts and shit like that. Seems like he's good at it. That's fine with me. But if you could have Saban up there and then have one of his guys, Tommy Rees, like minds. That's the key, having like minds. Every organization has to have like-minded people. I left an organization, went to another one before, which was a good organization, but wasn't like-minded, and it never worked, And I eventually went back to the organization I'm with like-minded people, and it's just amazing what happens when everyone thinks alike. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would say this, and Stefanski. The other thing I was thinking about with Stefanski, people say, and people have been saying this. Well, you don't want to fire a coach. Yes, you do. Whether it's a coach or here in any business or any organization, any company, when you have a bad employee, it is never good to keep them. When they are bad, and it is proven that they are bad, they are to be fired immediately because they start to deteriorate the culture. So it is never good to keep this guy. They should fire him. They should have already fired him, but they should fire his ass right now. I mean, at this very moment, if they haven't, fire him. The sooner you can get him out, the sooner you start to trend back upward, because that's what happens. Bad employees, especially bad leaders, I should say leader. He's no leader, but bad people in leadership positions destroy the culture and bring everyone else around them down. So get that guy out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah, Mike, that seems to be the sentiment too. Going back with Andrew Berry, that I know Mary Kay Cabot said this week, you could take it to the bank. He ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, how good he is at contracts, and here, if Shedeur is your franchise quarterback, again, I've said it a million times. I'll continue to say it just because I'm such a huge fan of this past draft class. I mean, this draft would have saved any GM's job.
Yeah, I agree. I got an old quote here from Nick Saban about Tommy Rees.
Tight end, franchise defensive tackle, franchise linebacker, and a pretty good backup running back in Dylan Sampson, all in the same draft, with your only black sheep, as it were, being Dylan Gabriel, but still like a generational pillar building kind of draft class. So yeah, I'm pretty sure he'd be safe no matter what. But yeah, and here, I know Andrew also has a great relationship with Tommy Rees. He was the one that, to my knowledge, hired him as part of that new staff. Like, he was the one that sought him out to begin with. So,
well, he might. I know the Browns coaching executive is he's the actual coaching executive. He was the old GM. Was it Bob Quinn? Yeah, Bob Quinn, who is a connected with all those New England guys, Saban, all them dudes. So I think that might have been a part of it too. But here's actually Nick Saban on Tommy Rees, but when he was at Alabama.
He's mature. He does a great job presenting to the players. He has good relationships with the players. He's very bright. He understands the game. He's a very good quarterback coach in terms of helping guys improve at that position, which I think is critical. We don't have any issues. He's very respectful of what we want to do and how we want to do it. And the guy's hungry, wants to learn. I think he's one of the brightest young coaches that I've been around for a long time.
And that's the GOAT saying
high
that.
praise.
That's just
Okay, Okay, make Tommy Rees a head coach.
All right. And by the
And
way,
wouldn't you love to just hear him doing? Wouldn't it be great to just see him doing the press conferences for the Browns?
oh, it'd be
Just
awesome.
listen and save him instead of this goon right here. Inspire
Well,
change.
yeah, and here's I know some people. I know Dan was asking earlier, like, was Tommy Rees, was he the one that called the plays in the 2-point conversions? What's going on? I still don't think Tommy has full autonomy. He's calling the plays, but Kevin's still giving his input and has the final say as head coach. Here's Kevin on that today.
Last 2-point conversion.
Yeah, not going to get into all the specifics, Jeff, but obviously did not go as we thought it would.
Did you make that call or did Tommy?
Yeah, I make every call. I make every call.
Why would you take him off?
Yeah, it's a 2-point play. Didn't come through on our first 2-point play. Got to the second 2-point play. We didn't come through, but that's on me.
So the reporter asked him, "Did you make that call or did Tommy make that call?" He said, "I make that call. I make every call." So,
Well,
hearing about Tommy Rees, I'm fascinated, and he got him in the building, and the offense seems to be better since he's been taken over as the play caller. I'd like to see a little more of him with more autonomy to do what he wants to do. Personally,
well, I think whenever you get in those situations where you're going for 2 or you're going for it on 4th down, that's always the head coach
no, I agree
making
with
that
that, but
decision. You know what I mean?
no, I agree with that. I know that, but he made it sound like he was in charge of the whole thing. And he said it's all on him. He takes accountability for it.
No, I'm talking about what you were talking about what Dan was asking. But
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know though. Did Kevin suggest the play call there? I mean, here he put him in the situation to begin with as the head coach. Would Tommy Rees have gone for it in that situation? I don't know. We'll never know
right.
that question unless he's a head coach. But again, I want to. I still think Kevin Price still has a lot of input on that offense and what they're running some plays and going for. I want to see, because again, Tommy Rees isn't going to come in the middle of the season in November and completely change that offense. It's just impossible. You already have your installed
No.
offense. There's nothing you
Right.
can do about it. So, I want to see this guy with what I'm hearing about in the CNS article today. That's something to think about. I'm not saying that's who I would hire at the end of the day. I want to see more candidates' names, but I just found that timing of this article interesting with all the stuff going on and the climate. I mean, it's pretty fascinating, I think.
Well, I can tell you this. When you see what Saban said, one of the things he said about Tommy Rees, I mean, about developing quarterbacks. I mean, somebody is certainly in 3 weeks. The growth you're seeing in Sanders in 3 weeks, especially just in the last week, somebody is definitely working with that kid.
He looks
And
better
somebody's
coached than when he was coached by Pat Shurmur.
right. And when it's a comfort thing,
and you saw what Pat Shurmur was this year in Colorado, it was a disaster.
yeah, church shit. But when they're more comfortable, that's just all coaching, because the coach is the one that's building that confidence, and the confidence is what's making them more comfortable. So somebody's doing a good job. It's probably him, I'm sure, but you can certainly see it today. So curious to see what happens next week with Sanders. How's he look next week versus this week and the week before? But
yeah,
I'll tell you what, for somebody like for Saban to say something like that, where he says, I mean, I have no complaints about this guy, hopefully they do keep him around.
Mike, I want to end with this real quick because we didn't, I want to touch on that too. I brought it up. The Deshaun Watson stuff, Mike, about next year and drafting a quarterback in the first round. Obviously, Shedeur has X amount of weeks to change their mind. And maybe that lit a fire in Shedeur to go out there today, Mike, to kind of prove them wrong, which I think he did so far. He's got more weeks to do it coming up, 4 more weeks. So your thoughts on all that with the Watson, the quarterback, first round, all that stuff.
Yeah, you kind of had the answer hidden in your question. No, I think that's exactly it. Like, I think the plan B maybe would be like, if they didn't think Shedeur could be the guy, they draft a quarterback, but have Deshaun be the bridge guy. He's already on the team. You're already paying him money. Might as well. He'll probably be a better bridge guy than the guys you can find just out on the street. You know what I mean? But I don't here. If Shedeur continues to do this, man, we're not even going to get to that point. We're just going to be talking about what do we do with these picks now, because that's gonna be a whole.
That's the most ideal.
Yeah, which I think, I mean, here after today, after last week, I would have said here, I see some things, but I still don't know. After this week, I'm like, there's so much good that you can build on that if he just shows it once or twice more, like I think you'll have a good body of work to be like, yeah, this kid's got it. He's coachable. He's got a good arm. He's accurate. We don't need to do that. But you can still have Deshaun on the sideline now. I know he's not the most popular figure, but that being said, he does know a lot about football, and it looks like he already has a pretty good relationship with Shedeur. He's grown a pretty good relationship with Shedeur. He's coaching him up on the sideline with the tablet when he's out there. So, as far as like somebody you can have as a backup for next year to talk to Shedeur with his first full starting year as your starting quarterback, you could do a lot worse than Deshaun Watson, So that's my thought on it. But I wouldn't doubt the plan B is to have him be the bridge guy if push comes to shove.
Yeah, I agree. Joseph, I was responding to the person who said Shedeur is Rees's protege. I was pointing out the possible connection, but also Rees did nothing to develop Shedeur. DG got hurt initially. I think Tommy Rees has done a lot in helping develop Shedeur. I think you're seeing it play out right now.
His footwork, the biggest thing.
His footwork, his processing's a little different. I mean, I thought his just even look how he got the ball out this week when instead of taking sacks, like him and the coach, he has a good relationship with Tommy Rees. You could say like Tommy Rees likes Shedeur. You saw back in the preseason, coaching matters. Like it's not, no player doesn't just become this great player, develop all of a sudden week to week without great coaching. It's not reality. The coaching, since he's taken over as a play caller, and he's probably spent more time with Shedeur than Kevin in the offseason, because Kevin was working with the other guys in the ones when he was still with the play caller. So I think, we saw in the mic'd up mic, we saw him with Shedeur the most. So, remember that it was in the training camp. So, I think he's definitely helping him. And I think he's as a play caller, he's doing his job and helping him too, and putting him in the right spots to be successful. I mean, I thought today did a pretty good job overall. And I think he likes Tommy Rees. I think Rees likes him. And, coaching is going to be important for all these guys, especially your young quarterback. He has to have a good coach in there, because if he doesn't, he can do as well as he can do all the stuff he can. But it's like the old saying: players win games and coaches lose them. So coaching and stability and franchise, all that stuff matters. That's why a lot of great quarterbacks who were great quarterbacks coming out of college had a lot of potential and upside and talent. They want the crap because they want the bad organizations with no structure, bad coaching. They were never coached and developed properly. Like Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick that went to the New England Patriots with phenomenal development and coaching, and look what he became. And he gives a lot of, obviously, he had the mindset and the work ethic. But if he would have went somewhere else where they didn't match that, or they didn't have the other stuff that he didn't have when he came out of college to help him become who he became, he would have never got there. So, Patrick Mahomes, the perfect situation with Andy Reid in Kansas City. So I think if Tommy Rees has done with him so far in 3 weeks, I've seen development. And I think if that's what they like moving forward, maybe that's what they roll with. I don't know. But, and that would be great, because now I can use those 1st-round picks on Carnell Tate. I can go get offensive linemen. I can do all kinds of things. You can really build out your team now. And really, Mike, you look at it, I mean, the roster next year, I know Zach Jackson said this because of a lot of the cap stuff. Like you're probably going to have 20 to 30, rookies on your roster, or rookie, not say rookie, but rookie to first and second year players on your roster next year, possibly. I think I heard the other day Zach Jackson said you're gonna have basically you're gonna have a lot of young players on your roster next year, okay, because of the financial stuff with the Watson deal and all that. But if you hit the quarterback position and you got a lot of your other key players on rookie contracts, then you're good. You're right. You know what I mean? You're in a good spot, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know, but
I agree. Like,
Jersey had to bounce, his phone died. So, but Mike, like we always end, Chantel's calling it already. She's saying he's going to beat the Bears next week. The Browns are going to win, Mike, against the Bears next week. What's your prediction?
I think we lose. But I still think Shedeur will be. I expect Shedeur to build on this and have another impressive outing. But I think we lose. As far as the score, I'm going to ramp up the score though. I mean, Shedeur can, if he builds on this, he can put up points. I'm going to say Cleveland 28, Bears 31.
It's in Chicago, right?
I think that one's at home too, isn't it?
No, I think it's in Chicago. I could be wrong on that. Somebody put in the comments real quick if they know. I'm looking it up. I think it's in Chicago. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see. Am I wrong? No, it's in Chicago. 1:00 on Fox. Chicago's a 7-point favorite to open up. Over under is 48.5. I think they lose. Now, how the game actually goes, if Kevin's still the head coach next week, Mike, I think they go on the road, Chicago. I think Shedeur plays decent, but I think the team just looks uninspired still and just have a lot of blunders still. And I think they lose on the road 28-17 or something. Just kind of like a boring game. But if Tommy Rees takes over as interim head coach, and let's say they fire Kevin tomorrow and he takes over, which I think you never know. I mean, I don't know how Haslam's going to react to this loss. Haslam's very unpredictable, Mike, as we've learned in the past. 1 minute he says one thing, the next minute, I mean, he gave an 0-16 coach in Hugh Jackson an extension and then fired him the next season, Mike. So anything's possible with Haslam. We know that.
Right.
If I woke up tomorrow morning and saw that Kevin was fired, wouldn't surprise me at all. You know what? I'm going to say if Tommy Rees is coaching next week, I think the Browns win. I think Miles has a big day against Caleb Williams. I think he gets a lot of. You know what? I'll even say even if Kevin is still here, they might win next week. I don't know. I'm starting to think about it again. I'm thinking about this on the spot because I haven't thought about that game yet. But man, that's a tough one because from a football standpoint, I like the Browns' defense against their offense in some areas. They've done a nice job this year, but I think Myles Garrett can have a big game there. I really do. It's just how well will the offense play, and I like what I saw from Shedeur today. I think he looked a lot better. He looks like he has a lot more. He just looked more calm, and like Christian said, they going to open up the playbook more next week. That would be really good. So, you know what, Mike? I'm gonna say the Browns win. Why not?
Why not?
I'm switching up. I'm going to say the Browns win next week. I don't know why. 23-17 Browns win.
All right now.
I don't know why. Now they're probably going to lose because every time I pick them, they lose. So I did pick them to lose this week, though, against the I picked the Titans last week, so I hit that one. But
next week's the week you're going to be right, and I'm going to be excited.
I hope. She said, I was at the game, and Whitney Haslam's daughter had her 12 jersey on in the press box sitting next to her dad. Well, remember they had the whole family down on the field, Mike, in that one game.
Oh yeah,
and they all had 12 jerseys on. I'll just tell you this: the amount of revenue this guy has generated for Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam doesn't want to easily just let him out of the building.
Yeah,
what owner would? They wouldn't, because the end of the day is a business. But I don't know. What's your score prediction? You have a score prediction?
Oh yeah, I said Bears 31, Browns 28.
31-28. I said 23-17. I had a big change up 180 right here live on the show. I'll take the Browns winning. Mike's got the Bears, but would I be surprised if the Browns lost? No. Will Kevin Stefanski be the head coach next week, Mike? Get a percentage, 1 to 100.
I'm going to say there's going to be a slight percentage hanging towards yes, just because of how Jimmy's moved.
Put a number on it. I need a number.
55% yes, 45% no.
So 55 though.
Yeah, I'm going to say slightly over half they don't fire Kevin this week. The chance that I think they fire him at the end of the season, though, is like 85%.
That I agree with. I'm going to say 50, and I don't mean to be down the middle, but it is a 50-50 call. You know what I'm talking about, Mike. And that's basically what you're saying. It's a 50-50 call. Like, I don't know how Haslam's going to react to this game, Mike. You know, the article with the Tommy Rees thing put out today. I don't know, Mike. I'm just I wouldn't be surprised if we'll go tomorrow morning and said he was fired. I really wouldn't.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they just ride out to the end of the year because there's only 4 games left and is what it is. But I think they should go ahead and if Tommy's their guy, like Mary Kay's kind of. Did you take that vibe too as well? I meant to ask, like, did you get that vibe? Like they're kind of alluding, like you're putting him in the same breath as Kevin O'Connell, and if that's their thinking, then why not just do it now?
Yeah, rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, give him 4. Give him exactly. Give him 4 games, get his feet wet, and then just go from there. Why not do that? That's what I would do. But I don't know. I would say 50-50 shot. I really do. I think it's a 50-50 shot. He's on the sideline next week. I don't know. And I felt like that last week after the 49ers game. It just keeps getting worse and worse. And it's not that they're losing, it's how they're losing. It's from his decision making. It's just worse and worse and worse each week. And I don't know how much longer Haslam just ride it out. And here's another thing you guys got to remember too. You know, there's gonna be more, like she put in that article. He's gonna get interviewed for more college jobs. You know, obviously NFL. There's most other NFL teams don't feel as comfortable because they haven't had the time the Browns have obviously had with him since he's been in their building, and he is younger. You know, that's not usually an NFL hire, although it's becoming more common nowadays with that age group. But college, you know, everybody in the college rankings know him because he was in the college game for a long time. And obviously was under Nick Saban and it was in Notre Dame. So more college teams are going to be calling Mike to offer him jobs, probably, or at least want to talk to him. So if the Browns truly don't want to let him out of the building, they might have to make that big swing, Mike. Another big swing.
I agree.
And make the move. And why not? You have to do it right now because coaching changes, the coaching carousel is happening as we speak. Guys are getting hired and fired. And it's going to continue for the rest of the month. So, you know, they got to make a move quick if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, no, I agree 110%. Couldn't have said it better myself, brother.
I do believe the Browns will not let untapped, valuable commodities leave the building. Never again. You think they'd learn their lesson, Rodney? I hope they did. I hope they did. And it sounds like from her article they might have. So, but interesting stuff. Stay tuned. You know, he's had some stuff going on in his personal life. He's in the middle of a move. So congrats to you, Mike and Hannah. Shout out to you guys. Congrats on the move. Where's the button? Come on.
Thank you.
I know. Stay tuned this week, Mike. Are we getting maybe some TPF action this week?
We may just. We're getting settled. So I'm gonna be having a new and improved office area here shortly. Probably not with the next episode, but maybe the episode after that, you will see a new and improved TPF setup.
But they should stay tuned this week, folks, because whatever happens, we'll be reacting to it. And so, you know, make sure they need to like, subscribe, and share, Mike, if they haven't already.
Yeah, folks, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you all for everybody who chatted in. Really means a lot to us. You know, just hit 1,000 subs. Still trying to get rolling, keeping going rolling. But we want to thank all the new subscribers, all the old subscribers who have stuck with us. We love you all very much. And we appreciate everything you do. If you could, please like, subscribe if you haven't, and share this content if you would be so willing. It helps out the show a lot. It helps get more eyes on it. And we just appreciate you guys very, very much for watching and just for, you know, chilling with us, talking Browns football.
Absolutely. What the man said, do it. Shout out to Mike. But please like, subscribe, and share all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. I'm saluting, Mike. We're out of here, actually. But what are you doing, Mike?
I'm sitting in an ice bath right now. I'm sitting in an ice bath on a bearskin rug because I was swinging a sledgehammer all day.
All right. We'll see you next one. We're out of here.
Later.